Just a few hours ago at time of recording, Razorfist put out a video about ambition, or more specifically, the lack of ambition in modern game development. To me, the video comes across as yet another nostalgia trip, going on about Looking Glass software and how amazing the Thief games were. But my main reason for making this video is that I responded in a comment chain, and while Razorfist replied, I couldn't reply back to him, because between him replying and me getting back to him, the comment chain seems to have disappeared. I assume either the original poster deleted his comment or it was a mess up on YouTube/Google's part, because I don't take Razorfist as the kind of guy who would delete comments that are inconvenient to him. So with that in mind, this hastily thrown together video. First, my problem with the video in general. Ambition is a nice thing to have, but it's not the only thing, and ambition alone is kind of worthless if you haven't got the skill or the budget to back it up. Yes, AAA games tend to be play it safe, designed by committee, follow the herd crap, but then you've also got games that don't do that. So while Razorfist is complaining about the lack of ambition in Horizon Zero Dawn, around the same time the game I kept hearing about was Nier Automata. Now I know that PC gamers, especially nostalgic ones that grew up on the likes of Thief, don't really care about Japanese games, but that's kind of the point. These games still out there, but if you're just looking at the AAA slop and then complaining that everything that you see is AAA slop, then it kind of makes sense, doesn't it? Hell, we might be slowly seeing the return of the JRPG, but people don't seem interested because they're too busy looking at the latest Battlefield or Call of Duty and complaining how everything's Battlefield and Call of Duty while refusing to look at games like Nier. Another game actually is Titanfall 2. That game was essentially dead on arrival. It came out, no one really cared. It came out between Call of Duty and Battlefield 1, which a lot of people kept complaining about. But from what I hear, Titanfall 2 has an absolutely amazing single-player campaign. Which brings me on to another general point. Given the choice between a small, focused game with limited scope, but does that thing that it does really well, versus a game that promises everything and then delivers on none of it, usually I will go for the smaller game that actually delivers on its promises. And Razorfist made this point in his own videos. In the Star Citizen video, he complains about how Chris Roberts is promising this, that and t'other, while the Battletech Kickstarter is small, it's focused, and they say, yeah, it would be nice to have these features, but we want to focus on making the core game good before we start adding any of this extra crap. And yet this ambition video, he seems to be doing a complete 180, saying that devs should reach for the stars even if they know they can't reach them, because at least you could say you tried to reach for the stars. And then there's the comment response. In the video, Razorfist criticises the method of writing, which is to take a cool concept or cool idea and then try and build a story around it. To him, that you should build a good story first and that the cool stuff should come out of that. While I disagree with this, because there's lots of examples where the opposite is the case, the example I used was one of Razorfist's favourites, Battletech, because from my understanding, Battletech was originally a company that had got a bunch of Japanese robot toys, like cheap little capsule toys, that they had bought in bulk and were trying to sell them on for a profit. Obviously just selling the toys wouldn't have worked, so they put them into a box with some rules and a mat and sold it as a miniature robot wargame. Razorfist said that that wasn't the case, that the original Battletech was folding out cardboard figures, and questioned where I was getting my information about the origins of Battletech. Now here's where I have to hold my hands up and plead ignorance, because I got most of my information about the history of Battletech from the Examined Life of Gaming's MechWarrior retrospective videos, which if you've not seen them, those are very good videos by the way. For further evidence that this is what happened, look up Battletech Unseen. What this was that of the toys that they bought, a lot of the Japanese companies noticed that this Battletech thing was getting pretty big in the West and then noticed that they had stolen their robot designs and artwork and decided to sue. Thus you have mech designs that appear and disappear seemingly at random based on the legal situation at the time whatever game was released. I also want to say that certain mech designs were simply changed to get around this legal problem, although I don't know that for sure. So yeah, I'm no Battletech expert, but between the various articles about the Unseen and that this particular rumour seems to be the version of the Battletech origin story that's passed around, I'm inclined to believe it, although I could be completely wrong. But even if we put aside this origin story for Battletech, why would they build this huge convoluted political backstory and lore and then put giant robots in it? Why not make the game about tanks or jet fighters or other stuff like that? It's more grounded and it makes sense. Well, the reason to me seems pretty obvious. Giant robots are cool and they wanted to make a giant robot game. The specifics of the lore came later. I find it hard to believe that they wrote this huge expanse of lore and then went, I guess we're going to have to make a robot game to go alongside it now. So, that's what I want to say about Razorfist's Ambition video. Thanks for watching. Bye.